Shalom, shalom, shalom. Call halal barakatah Yahweh through the spirit and power of the throne of King David. This your King and Shepherd KD with another message of daily edification. We rolling now, y'all. I want to show y'all something real quick. I'm not gonna break the momentum. All right, I ain't gonna bullshit up none of y'all time. Okay, check this out. I want to take us real quick to 1 Kings chapter 3, all right? And I'll begin reading. Now, I'm gonna show y'all something, all right? It says, Then came there two women that were harlots unto the king. Y'all hear that? Then came there two women that were harlots unto the king and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the third day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. And this woman's child died in the night, because she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while thy handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but this living is my son, and the dead is your son. And this said, this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king. Then said the king, The one said, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is thy dead. And the other said, No, but thy son is thy dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in two, and give half to one and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son, and she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divided. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all of Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of the power was in him to do judgment. Now, that's a very old story. I grew up hearing it, but you finna get the whole story. All right? Now, we're going to start off in chapter 24, starting at verse 1. Now, when men would pay to be with harlots, they knew not that the harlots were the wives of Solomon. Now, reading that right there, I've been reading that story, man, for decades. I never knew those was his wives. How would you? The Bible never told you that. See what I'm saying? The big gaps that the word leaves out when the Most High want to leave you exactly where he wants you. This is why y'all got to know that you in the right place. These are the secrets that the Most High is revealing unto you. Psalms 91, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall dwell under the shadow of the Almighty. You think you ain't dwelling under the shadow of the Almighty here, getting this information? Don't nobody else know this. And the ones that will wish to know it, the dumbass church pastors, they don't know none of this, man. Oh, King Solomon was the wise. Yeah, he was wise, but they don't know this side of him. I guarantee you that, because this is the secret place of the Most High. Don't you ever forget that. All right. Now, chapter 24, verse 2. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to start at verse 1 again. Now, When men were paid to be with harlots, they knew not that the harlots were the wives of Solomon. This is why Solomon pulled those two out of the stable and put them in the house, so that he would know that the baby was his. They didn't want to have no baby daddy bullshit going on back there, all right? And Solomon gained wealth and treasure on earth exceedingly because of the harlots which were in his wives. See? So, like I said, Solomon was on some old school 1992 AMG bitch better have my money type shit, okay? Solomon gained wealth and treasure on earth exceedingly because of the harlots which were his wives. He was pimping the shit out of them. Verse 3, then came there a time when the two wives of Solomon, who had prevailed in the horse endurance contest, and who had been on display before all of the people in the temple, came to their king and said, we are ready to give birth to the seed of David. And their husband said, I will give you a room for each one of you, and the two of you shall dwell in the same house. But when they each had their babies, behold, the womb of the wife of Solomon, who had endured 4 days of the flesh of horses and asses, was abused and torn, and her insides were damaged so badly that the baby lived 2 days and then died. Did you know that? I didn't. We read that in 1 Kings chapter 3. Yeah, we just thinking, oh, the baby just didn't make it. No. That horse tore that girl's insides up, all right? And the baby couldn't, form properly behind that. So Solomon put his seed in this woman's womb, and her womb was destroyed, man. All right? Verse 5. Now the wife of the dead baby feared that her husband would do something bad to her because his baby died, and she feared that Solomon would blame her and beat her to death. Now when King Solomon had discovered what had happened to one of his sons, having heard that the baby had died, he called for those wives who lived together to come to him and explain. Now because these two wives of Solomon were in fear of their husband, they acted not like wives, but they acted like harlots, because that was always more pleasing to Solomon. So the wives said to each other, if we approach him as wives, we know not what he may do. But if we come to him as harlots, he will surely put us to death, because he can still make lots of money off of our bodies. And the two wives agreed. Now, they were going to both tell the truth of whose baby died, but not of how or why he died, for fear that Solomon would think they were blaming him. And when they entered into the king's chambers and saw their husband the king, the mother of Solomon's dead baby feared exceedingly, and she said, this other woman came and switched babies with me. She came while I was sleeping and stole my baby. She has mine. The living baby is mine. And Solomon said, bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And when the two wives of Solomon thought that they would kill him, they heard him say, divide the living child in two and give 1/2 to one and 1/2 to the other. Then spake the wife of those living child. Then spake the wife of whose living child was unto the king, for her heart yearned upon her son, and she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other wife of Solomon was still afraid of being in fear. She durst not agree with anything that the king said, so she agreed and said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. And Solomon knew who was the mother of the living child, and he sent the child with the child's mother back to the house, but he sent the other woman back to the stables, and everyone feared Solomon because his countenance was ruthless. And the word was spread that Solomon would cut his own child in half without a second thought, so he was feared exceedingly. Yeah, word got out about that. They like, this nigga was finna cut his own baby in half. All right. Verse 15. Within the wilderness there was a small kingdom in the desert, And within the four corners of a sandy desert island lies the Mayata Jew on one side, the Towende on another, the Hatubari in one corner, and then within the forbidden forest is the sacred Huaduzia garden of ancient secrets, which is called by the name of Eden unto this day. Damn, so that's another name for Eden, huh? The Huaduzia is spelled Whoiiduziah. Garden of ancient secrets, which is called by the name of Eden unto this day. I, Nathan the prophet, was caught up and taken to three steep mountains where I journeyed before them all, only to see more. And there was a river of water. And when I had taken drink, I came nigh unto a young little girl who was watering the baby snakes. And she said, Afulak. And I knew not what she meant, because her tongue was very strange to me. But she walked with me, and she led me to a mix of tribes. And within her tribe I visited warriors and girls, and I soon learned the names of some others in her village. There was Chimro, who had taken to wife Dacia, of whom the shepherdess declareth, and one Myranba Oyaana Tanuku, and me she feared. And she began to run really fast, and I spake unto her in her own tongue, by the power of the power, saying, Be not afraid, for I am the prophet of our father Yahweh, and my burden is heavy. And she said, Yes, okay, but pray for me. And I said, I shall pray that we meet again in another walk of life, and we shall be in healthy balance unto many, even ourselves. And now, if you will take me to meet the rest of your family, I will pray for all of you. And we went, and I met and visited many colorful multitudes of men and women, among whom were Haburi, Takana, Baran, Kikaba, Kikiyu, Meru, Suba, Messiah, Suburu, Sayan, Ake, Ayata, Maji, Ilakitaka, y'all think I'll play it, man, Messiah, where I prophesied over a warrior who is called Watno of the Siburis, and the sayings of the Abba do cannot be repeated, not even into this book. The prophecy was for his ears only, to instruct and guide him individually. And the Abba do, for the Abba do is far from the same in every ear. And then I prayed for Yabina, Tibin, Redmay, Dayakra, Wanbalu, Bediah, Norea, Ansiavio, Mokodo, Itomito, Sanya, Noka Jari, Adeditosu, and some said Naboli, but others said Hatabiri. Now among those of royalty were Shuru, pronounced Shutu, and Kure, pronounced Kure. Any mispronunciation of a royal name was punishable once by warning, twice by death. Damn. Can y'all imagine that shit, man? Now, I'm sitting there struggling with these names. And all y'all get to do is y'all get to sit back and listen. That's why I don't none of y'all want to trade with me. Y'all hear them names? Y'all should see how they spell, man. And I got my glasses on. Now, if I had my black ass up there butchering these names, they'd be trying to go upside my motherfucking head. All right? All right, let's back to the scripture. All right. Kure, any pronunciation of a royal name was punishable. And they spelled the shit out. They said Shutu. Shootoh. No, it's Shuto. Shuto. See, I butchered it. Right? And Kure pronounced Kure. Now it's spelled Kure, but then it's pronounced Kooray. Okay? Any mispronunciation of a royal name was punishable once by warning, twice by death. Now many of the women of royalty wore large, heavy golden weights around their necks. And when I asked them why, no answer worth writing about was given. Now, of the royal bloodline, Hawo and Sarai were weeping for Tenyo, who had died, but not without having two sons, one of which would now be the next king, their father having died, and these sons were called Lamenta, meaning crybaby, and Hammon, meaning multitude. Now, of the elder, it was most swiftly said that he cannot be both king and a crybaby. Wherefore, the younger took the crown of his father and immediately became a king with favor. It being said that he shall surely be able to lead multitudes, for even his name saith the same. But when his daughter had heard of the size of the loins of Solomon, she marveled at the false report of the thickness of Solomon's loins, for she knew not that the thickness of the loins of Solomon was just a rumor that had began when the abomination of desolation stood in the temple of the Lord. Now, did y'all catch that? The abomination of desolation stood in the temple of the Lord. I'm going to read that again. For she knew not the thickness of the loins of Solomon was just a rumor that had begun when the abomination of desolation stood in the temple of the Lord. So Solomon is the abomination of desolation. Okay? But when Princess Hammon heard of the thickness of King Solomon's loins, she thought it not to be an idle tale, but she imagined it to be true. And she said unto her father, all of the men around here hang these long, hollow wooden logs from themselves, hoping and thinking to excite the women. But we are no more excited by these obstacles of illusion than any of you men are probably aroused by these gold neck bracelets on our necks. Now, if you will bid me blessings of our great Baal, all right, then I will take as many from the kingdom as you give me, and I will unlock the secrets needed for extending all the way even unto the size of King Solomon. And I will bring it back here to our land, and the men here will have no need to wear these sticks anymore. And King Hammon said, my daughter, I am new to the throne, and already you are asking to leave me in search of another king. Tell me, my daughter, why is it that you ask me to let you go so far away? If anything ever happened to you, my heart could not take it. My answer is no. But King Hammon was not able to sleep that night, fearing that his daughter would hate him. And in the morning he went and assembled the warriors of every village where he had reigned, and he had it announced unto them all that their mission was to safely escort his daughter to well-known and beloved Princess Hammon. Wait a minute. To escort his daughter, the well-known and beloved Princess Hammon, unto the world-famous King Solomon. And he said unto his daughter, I am sending the mighty power Baal with you. And if anyone tries to harm you in any way, may the mighty power Baal break them in half, even before they come close to hurting you. And he gave one last command unto his kingdom before he sent them away with his daughter. And he shall teach them how to tend unto the needs of one another. And again, be it known why I command you all to leave your children, because it is for a reminder of trust. For in the same way as you are trusting me with your children, I am trusting you with mine. Take good care of my daughter, and I shall take good care of your children as well. And I wish you well. So, look. Her whole purpose of this trip was to go see Solomon's dick. Ain't that some shit? You women, y'all something else, man. Y'all something else. That's all I got to say. Y'all nasty. Check it out. Verse 17. Now Princess Haman knew not the Lord, for she worshipped idols and brought Baal to King Solomon as a gift. And Solomon seen the beauty of the princess, and it was unlike any of his 700 wives, and he desired to have her to be his wife. But she said, not until he prove unto her of what she had heard in the thickness of the size of his loins, that it was true. And Solomon does not take her by force, for she brought her entire kingdom with her. And Solomon perceived that they would all be honored to die in combat fighting for their princess. And Solomon said, the power we worship does not allow a woman to uncover the nakedness of a man unless she be his wife. Now, then, what other thing can I do for you that I might take you to be my wife? And then you shall see and behold the thickness of my loins. And the princess said, if there be any other thing that I will accept as worthiness for my hand in marriage, I will surely let thee know on the morrow of those requests. But as for now, allow me to place our God Baal in the temple of your power, that our power and your power might join together as one. Now that's where the bullshit started. See? Verse 20. And the princess said, I must go in prayer before our power and pray to my power and see if it be the will of Baal for me to become your wife. And Solomon said, yes, by all means. Solomon himself had Baal placed in the temple of the Lord. Damn. Big no-no. Big no-no. 22. And Princess Haman said unto Solomon, will you pray to my power Baal with me? And Solomon said, I do not know how to pray to this power. And Haman said, I heard that thee, O King Solomon, were the wisest of all kings of the earth, and now I find myself blushing because thou knowest not how to pray to the mighty power of Baal. And Solomon said, is your mighty power Baal greater than I, that I should bow down and worship him? And Princess Haman was quiet while Solomon spake. And he said, are you, Princess Haman, greater than all of my 700 wives, who I now have, that I should rather delight in marrying you? And Princess Haman said, I am far more desirable than all 700 of your wives, and you could marry 300 more wives, and I would still be greater than all of them as well. And Solomon said, prove it, or else how do I know that thou speakest the truth? But I shall see this thing for myself. I shall see this thing for myself. Yeah, I got a little bit more time, y'all. So this Haman was talking shit. She like, hey, Solomon, you ain't got no women like me in your stable, man. You can go get 300 more. You still ain't finna get this, all right? My cookie's fresh out the oven, all right? Look at verse 23. No, 25. Chapter 25, verse 1. And Solomon took Princess Haman up on her offer that he could marry 300 more wives and add them to his 700 wives for a total sum of 1,000 wives, and then line them all up next to Princess Haman and see if she would truly be found more desirable than them all. So Solomon married 300 more wives, and the ceremony was performed at the temple of the Lord. And behold, Princess Haman was the fairest among all 1,000 of the wives of Solomon. For the 300 women which Solomon married that day were not princesses, but were poor, average women, nothing special to be adored by Solomon. Look, y'all, I've been reading this, man, for years. I used to be like, God damn, man, Solomon must have had him some hammers in his group, man. This the king. This the king. Truth be told, Solomon had a stable of hood rats, y'all. Say it ain't so. But it is. All right. Damn. I know this busting y'all nuggets just like it did mine. And behold, Princess Hammon was the fairest among all 1,000 of the wives of Solomon. For the 300 women which Solomon married that day were not princesses, but were poor, average women, nothing special to be adored by Solomon. And although the other 700 wives of Solomon were princesses, and some had at one time been very lovely, nevertheless, the abuse that they had all endured had taken hold of their countenance and conquered their appearance. Y'all know, man, a pimp keep his bitches with a black eye. When one healed up, he give another one. Bow! You know? Telling y'all, man, Solomon was on that Hunters Point shit, man. Ever been to Oakland up there in the Bay Area? They got an area called Hunters Point. And I went through there back in like 1989, long time ago, because I heard about it, but I had never seen it. God damn. Y'all heard of Too Short, right? Well, he wasn't bullshitting. Hundreds of them out there, man, just prancing around. I was like, and no, I didn't indulge, and fuck you for thinking that. I ain't going to jail for no bullshit like that, but I did see it though. And look, man, oh my God. But look, I got room for one more verse, y'all. Ooh-wee. All right, I'm going to go to verse 5 and 6, and I'm going to cut off right there, then we all come back, all right? And although the other 700 wives of Solomon were princesses, and some had at one time been very lovely, nevertheless the abuse they had all endured had taken hold of their countenance and conquered their appearance. Gee, so you mean they didn't look good after fucking horses and donkeys and getting their teeth busted out by Solomon and getting their motherfucking ass whooped? Hell no, they wasn't looking like nothing. Look at verse 6. For 33 of the first 700 wives of Solomon were filthy and dirty, undurfed and pale, thin from hunger, full of stink and with child. Ooh. God damn. We're going to get through this book, y'all. Look. I'm at verse 6, man. God damn. I'm at verse 6. I'm going to pick up at verse 7. All right, I promise y'all. I ain't going to leave y'all hanging. I'm going to get through as much of this as I can. All right? As much as I can. But we got to cut it off at verse 6. All right? Woo! When we get to verse 7, though. All praises. Barakatah. All right? To the Father of lights. To the spirit and power of the throne of King David. All praises. Love you, family. Give me a minute. Go keep this train going. All right? This is your King and Shepherd. And I'm out. See y'all on the next go round. Shalom.